My 8-year-old son was reported to the police for selling drugs at school. Read out he was running an underground candy empire. Last Tuesday, I received that phone call every parent dreads part to the school principal requesting an immediate meeting regarding a serious matter involving your son, Ethan. My mind raced through worst-case scenarios as I drove to the school. Had he been bullied? Was he hurt? Nothing prepared me for walking into the principal's office to find not only Mrs. Peterson, but also Officer Ramirez from our local police department. Mrs. Collins, the principal began gravely, we have reason to believe Ethan has been selling controlled substances on school property. My sweet, dinosaur-obsessed third grader who still sleeps with his stuffed Triceratops, a drug dealer. We receive reports from concerned parents. Mrs. Peterson continued, sliding a small plastic bag across her desk. Inflated were what looked like colorful pills or tablets. These were confiscated from another student who said they purchased them from Ethan. Officer Ramirez watched my reaction carefully. Ma'am, has Ethan had access to any prescription medications recently? I picked up the bag with trembling fingers and examined the contents. Then, despite the seriousness of the situation, I burst into laughter. These aren't drugs, I explained, still trying to compose myself. They're Warheads, Parnt extremely sour candy. See, the little was stamped on each one. The confusion on their faces only made me laugh harder. After a moment, Officer Ramirez took the bag, examined a piece closely, and confirmed my identification. But why would students be buying candy from Ethan? Mrs. Peterson asked, clearly relieved but still concerned. We have a strict no-selling policy at school. That's when the full story emerged. They brought Ethan in from his class, and with surprising business acumen for an 8-year-old, he explained his operation. It started innocently enough. My mother-in-law had sent Ethan a care package from Japan filled with unique candies unavailable in our small Airreturn town. Ethan had shared some with friends who were immediately obsessed with the unusual flavors and experiences, particularly the super sour Warheads, and something called Pop Rocks that explode in your mouth. Seeing an opportunity, my entrepreneurial son began bringing small amounts to school, charging $1 for regular candy and $2 for the really weird stuff. He kept inventory in his math notebook, tracked which flavors were most popular, and even offered payment plans where kids could pay half up front and half the next day. I am saving for a nun-to-D, he explained matter-of-factly. I already made $87. Officer Ramirez was trying hard not to smile. And where do you keep this money, young man? In my dinosaur bank. Mom counts it with me every Friday. She thought it was just saving my allowance. All eyes turned to me. I felt my face flush with embarrassment. I had indeed been counting his savings with him, impressed by his newfound financial discipline. I had no idea I was essentially laundering money for an elementary school candy kingpin. The problem, Mrs. Peterson explained, is that some children were having reactions to the candy. One student's tongue turned bright blue for an entire day. Another developed a temporary rash from too much sour powder, and several parents complained their children were high on sugar during afternoon classes. Plus, she added, lowering her voice, he was operating out of the boys' bathroom. Heidi called it going to the candy store. Frey became suspicious when boys were suddenly very eager to use the restroom after lunch. I was mortified, but Officer Ramirez finally let his professional demeanor crack. Mrs. Collins, no laws have been broken here. Though I have to say, in 15 years on the force, this is my first candy bust. Ethan received a week of lunch detention and had to write apology letters to his teachers. We also had a long talk about school rules, appropriate business ventures, and why some parents might have been concerned about mysterious substances changing hands in school bathrooms that evening. As I confiscated his remaining inventory, a shoebox under his bed containing an impressive array of international sweets, I asked him how he gotten the idea. From you, he said simply. You always say if you want something you have to work for it, and you and Dad watched that show about the bald guy who sells drugs and becomes a millionaire. I nearly choked. Porting bad is not, Ethan, and we thought you were asleep during that. 2 days later, Officer Ramirez stopped by our house with a children's book about entrepreneurship and a business plan template designed for kids. For when he's ready for legitimate business ventures, he explained with a wink. That kid's going places, parent preferably not prison, maybe channel that spirit into a lemonade stand this summer. Ethan is now enrolled in a children's business class at our community center. His first project, devoluting marketing materials for a legitimate candy review YouTube channel, part with parental supervision. Meanwhile, I've learned to ask more questions about sudden income streams, even from 8-year-olds. If you want to know what happened when Ethan's grandmother found out why we needed more Japanese candy for a school project, share this video.